Well, hello and welcome to Backgrounds Take Two. And I have no idea what happened to the first video. It just literally disappeared. It was there for a while. People watched it, people commented on it, and whoop, and then it was gone. So we're gonna try and do take two here. I was working out of this palette on just a few minutes ago, and so I'm using up some magenta heavy body, and you don't need to use the heavy body. You can use some inexpensive paint. You can use some Dina Wakley fluids. We're just laying in just a little bit of a background. I do have a little white in some of these. I want these to remain somewhat light. And basically all I did was first and foremost step, I gessoed the page with, where'd she go? Oh, here she is, with the Dina Wakley clear gesso. And what I did was I actually just took a palette knife. I don't know why I'm going to show you over here. I actually took a palette knife to keep it really, really simple. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for us. Oops, wiggle, wiggle, sorry. All right. And I literally just very quickly put a layer of gesso on here with a knife. If you are watercoloring and using watercolors, you probably don't want to do that, but it just really helps keep the paint from soaking into the page. And if we're lifting any paint off to any degree, it has to have that layer of gesso on it. Otherwise your paper is just going to crumble and disintegrate, and you're going to end up with holes in your paper. So even just this little thin layer there is important. So please take the time to do that. You can do, I do probably 6 or 8 at a time. And just, I just make sure that either you can either, actually what happens is these curl up and then this one curls up, and they actually end up okay. But check to make sure that they're not sticking together. It's probably a little dangerous to do it this way and then go back to this page, but I'll unstick it later. It'll be fine. Actually, I can probably pull out a piece of wax paper and put it in there, but I'm not going to. Let's just get going here. Okay, these are very simple and quick. All I'm going to do, this is pretty dark, so all I'm going to do is almost put just a cross, kind of on a third of a page here. I'll have kind of the same thing as an echo on the other side, or a reflection on the other side. And then I come in with a stencil. You can use whatever stencil you have. Lift some of that off. Maybe smear some of it around a little bit. You can lift off a little bit over here. You can spend as much time and do as much as you want to, but that way you're not facing that blank page first thing in the morning, which that can be traumatic, that can ruin a good cup of coffee, really. So that's it for that page. I'm good to go on that. If you want to put some splatters on, you can do that, although remember, I'm going to be flipping this over. So we're not sure how those splatters are going to turn out. So, and actually, I'm going to dry it just for a sec. I literally only did that because of the splatters on here. I'll just wipe the rest off. Now I'm going to take a different brush. And I'm going to do the next one, cool colors, in cool colors, which you don't have to. You can do like a whole bunch of whatever color you want. I don't try and cover the whole page at all. I just want a suggestion of a background there. You can put a little scribbles in if you want. I pulled out this pen with these rubber tips, and you can try lifting some of the paint off. My paint is drying horribly fast today. So that's a little, it's good and bad. It's good because when I flip over the page and go on to the next one, I don't have to worry about it, but let's carry a couple up to the top and down to the bottom just to ground it. That's good enough. It's a little dark for me. Let's see if I can just pull out a little white here. Just put a little white over it. That just muted it down a little bit. If I want to come in and darken that background up while I'm doing the piece in the morning, I can do that. All right, I'm going to go back and use up some of my magenta on the next page, on my orange. Maybe let's put a teeny bit of yellow in there. Oh, my brush is kind of wet. We can actually take advantage of that. Make that run a little bit. And I'm going to hold that over my water so that I'm not pouring water all over the place. Oh gosh, sorry. Tipping lots of things over. Just let my let my paint, oh, you can't see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm just letting my, there's my water container. Sorry about the shadows. And I'm just letting that paint, excess paint, go into there. And I'm going to wipe up this puddle that's happening on the bottom. You can elect to do that or not. And I think I'm going to wipe up the one in the middle too, because I just don't need that frustration worrying about that in there. Now you can go in and see what it looks like to, let's maybe on this one, let's see what happens if we just do that. It just puts a little texture in it, kind of fun. We're not doing brain surgery here. My father-in-law used to always say that to me. It just creates a little bit of a line and a little interest in there. So I like that. And now I'm going to be really careful. If I fold this one over and it's that wet, you know, that may be an invitation for just a bad background day. So so I think I'll dry it just a titch. Going to do one more in the blue because you've kind of got the gist of it, don't you? This was left over from another day with my jelly pad. This is my gessoed sheet. And you know what? This is probably dry enough. even though I just did it a few minutes ago. And just saw a stencil that I haven't used for a while. Since we're putting blue and green on this one, I'm going to pull this little leafy guy out. I think it's a Dina Wakley stencil, actually. And isn't that an interesting texture? That's just because there's hardly any paint on my brush. Little whirly bird guys here. It's kind of fun, isn't it? Grounding it side to side and from top to bottom just gives some stability to your painting, just a nice foundation. Let's make this one upside down. We've got leaves reaching up on one side and whirlybirds coming down on the other. What do you think? And that's it. Your backgrounds are as easy as that. You can spend as much time doing it as you want or as little. You can do a couple at a time or just one the evening before you get up in the morning. I already decided that's it for that page. I'd love to add some splatters, but I'm not going to because we're not sure what we're going to do with it some morning. I could come back in here with some white. I would say just use up some of this paint in here, some of the white paint. I'm going to flip it over, which means I'll probably have some paint coming off of it on the other side too. Just want it a little bit lighter. There. And back to our first page that we did, which is almost dry. It's dry. You could almost work on this now. All right, that's it. God bless. Toodles. Hope you enjoy.